Hey, this is Ryan. This topic is running what we, out of force of habit and lamentably call the RACT tool, which is also redundant because the T in RACT stands for tool. And what it really should be called is CART, that being an acronym for Compare Addresses to Road Tool. But somehow in the start, we started calling it the Road Address Compare tool, even though really what it's writing to is the addresses. So I'm going to do my very best to continue referring to it as the cart or the compare addresses to road tool. And we first have to ask, what is this for? What does this do? Why are we bothering with this analysis stuff? The compare address to roads tool scans all of the address points in a given addresses feature class and tries to find a corresponding road centerline feature that has its range and a couple of other parameters, like, an MSEC community, stuff like that. And if it can't find that, then it's going to write an error to a column to tell you, the user, the analyst, that it doesn't know where this address point should go. And we do this so that our client's CAD system can locate set address points. So the first thing that we need is the easy tools for maintenance and remediation toolbox, which you can get in the SDR scripting Git repository. If you don't have the SDR scripting Git repository, that's a different video series. And I like to just make folder connections to my SDR scripting Git repository, and you do that by right-clicking on folder connections and going to connect to folder. You can do this in the toolboxes too, but for me, that doesn't save time. And you're going to find this tool inside SDR underscore scripting, inside of toolboxes then, and then inside of the toolbox easy tools. And inside of easy tools, there's a sub toolbox called analysis. And inside of analysis, the first tool is compare addresses to roads. So you'll double click on compare addresses to roads. And you'll find that the Esri box that opens wants you to enter a bunch of parameters. But if your data is already in the SDR next generation 911 hybrid format that we're using for most of our stuff as of the time of this recording in March 2023, you don't really have to do anything except select your addresses feature class for the first parameter, and then select your road centerlines feature class for the second parameter. Now, if your road center lines and your addresses aren't in the NG911 standard, are in the hybrid standard that we're using, you might have to reassociate some of these fields with whatever we're using for the address point community. In the past, we've used ESN community for address point community. We're not doing that anymore. If it's in like NG911 formatted data, this will be called, structure number will be called something else. Complete street name will be called something else. I think in most of the NG911 formats, this is called full road name. But right now you don't have to do that. So the other thing you want to do is go to this box with the heading enter a name for the results field. And what I like to do is I like to hit an underscore after the adds to roads tag that's already in the default there, and then just enter the day's date on which you're running this, which for us is today, the 9th of March, 2023. And there's this little box at the bottom called recalculate parity fields. This just runs a check to recalculate the parity on addresses points, and there's really no reason that you should uncheck this. I always leave that on. If you don't check this and you've got bad parity fields on some of your address points, then it's going to return some false positives, and there's really no reason not to run it. You hit OK. My computer's pretty fast. Usually this takes less than a minute, but it's going to depend really on the number of points in either of your feature classes. All right, so that took 1:31 seconds. Some of the new logic that Glenn added to it makes it take significantly longer, but it returns way better results. So hit close at the end, open up your attributes table for your addresses. At the very end of the addresses table, you'll find this new column that you created. You can sort these. The first thing I like to do is select all the passes, count them up. So we've got 42,057 out of 43,041 that are pass. That means that about 97.7% of them are good. You don't have to worry. That's pretty good. Most of the time, if you're getting fresh data from, like a county for reception, it's going to be way worse than that. The first thing you see is fail, range match, call mismatch, and multiple hits. That's a lot of problems. Everything you've got to fix in order. Fail, range match, call mismatch. This means that this address let's try to resize this so we can actually see anything. This address can't find a corresponding road segment that has a range that works and that has a community that works for it at the same time. This one, 2788 East County Line Road, should go to this one here. MSAC community is Ozark. If we look at this one, the address point, the MSAC community is Rogersville. That's a problem. Let's look at a different one. Fail name. 1 Daffodil Hill. We don't have a road in this data named Daffodil Hill. There's another problem. I'm going to say that that's an imaginary address. Fail, multiple hits. This one's a little bit harder to interpret. Generally what this means is that for this address, 6251 North Farmer Branch Road, there are multiple road center lines that are possible matches for this. Usually this means that there's more than that there's a range overlap. Let's see if we got that here to 6201. Yeah, this road's pretty weird. You can see that the range jumps from 6207, sorry, 6201 straight to 6207, and then it starts something else up there. That's pretty weird. Last we got bad ranging or out of range. Yeah, what are you gonna do with this? It's a cul-de-sac and everything's got a sequentially ordered odd numbered address. It's just really nothing you can do about that, right? You see this all the time. In the future, I'll probably do another video about resolving these specific kinds of errors. This is just kind of the barest overview. And also I'll do another video about what you can do if the tool doesn't run successfully. Usually if that happens, it's because you've got some null fields. You don't have fields that are populated correctly in your data.